Hey, Sleeper on Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with a Wrestling Dontaku review for May 3rd, 2018. This is part 1. There is another review coming for May 4th. You're going to have to forgive me. I'm going to try to run through this as quickly as possible because there's a lot of stuff on this card, and there's a lot of names I'm going to forget. So we have Yujiro Takahashi and Chase Owens versus the Young Lions. It looks like it's Yota Tsuji and Shota Umino. Peter, who is the rabbit that accompanies, well, a woman in a rabbit costume that accompanies Takahashi, looks pretty darn good, but she does a little bit of stripper moves and stuff. He's supposed to be a pimp, so whatever, it works. The Young Lions attack early, but the other two members of the other two guys of the Bullet Club quickly gain the advantage on Tsuji. I think it's Tsuji. I can't read my writing right now. Shota shows some fire. Callis correctly talks down the missile dropkick, saying it makes more of an impact on the person who delivers it than the person that actually gets hit. I completely agree. I hate the move. Owens eventually hits a package piledriver and gets the win. The next match is Jushin Thunder Liger, Tiger Mask, and Taguchi versus another bunch of young lions, we say. It's Yuji Nagata, excuse me. Sorry, Yuji Nagata is not a young lion. He's an older gentleman. He's 50 years old. Ren Narita and Tamayoki Oka. There's a cocky Oka who's disrespectful of Liger. Tiger Mask double underhook power bombs on Nagata. Looked really good. Taguchi lands a back underhook face plant. Basically, it's like a road to Valhalla. I didn't know how to describe it. And he gets the win. These matches are just, there's so many bodies, and there's a lot more that happens, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to give you a summary here. So then we get Sho, Yo, and Rocky Romero of Roppongi 3K versus Takahashi Iizuka, Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Lance Archer, from the Killer Elite squad. At one point, there's a Archer spitting water, and Callis says, "In Canada, that's assault." And then Kelly responds, "In Japan, it's a water sport." Okay, I'm just going to leave that at that. There is a huge size difference in this match, so it's kind of gigantic guys versus, regular size / little guys. I read that the big guys attack before the match with all sorts of illegal moves, so it's just like an exercise and just complete, they should be disqualified kind of stuff. Iizuka grabs the ref, but gets schoolboyed by Yo, and Callis claims it's a fast count because the ref didn't enjoy being handled, but it was a fine count. But it became kind of a running theme for Callis. The next match is Toa Henare, Michael Elgin, and Togi Makabe, and David Finlay, and Juice Robinson. Yeah, that's right, it never ends. It's a 10-man match versus Yoshihashi, Toru Yano, Tomohiro Ishii, Jay White, Switchblade, and Hiroki Goto. There are a few tough man spots. There's one for Elgin and Goto, then Makabe and Ishii. It's kind of Ishii's thing. Yano removes the corner pad, and Finlay is run into it multiple times. The crowd loves Juice Robinson. I just made a note of that. They just go nuts for him. Henare hits a really nice top rope shoulder block. It's one of his moves that he does normally, but it just looked better than usual. There's a cool running Uranagi by Henare as well. It looked really, really cool. But Jay White eventually hits a switchblade on Henare, and he gets the pin. The next match is Tongaloa, Tamatonga, and Bad Luck Fale versus Marty Scurll and the Young Bucks. So basically it's a Bullet Club versus Bullet Club match. At the beginning they do some handshakes. Scurll hits Fale from behind, and Fale just turns around angrily, and Scurll runs to the corner to tag someone, and everybody kind of jumps off the mat. I wrote that Nick Jackson and Tama have a very nice quick transition exchange. It looked really cool. Then there's tandem moves by the Bucks and the Tongans. I wrote Tongans, I'm just assuming they're supposed to be billed from Tonga. There's a comedy spot with Skrull attempting to body slam Fale. The Bucks have a Meltzer driver blocked by someone yanking, I think it's Matt Jackson on the outside. Nick Jackson. Then Matt Jackson eats a magic killer and Fale splash, but Skrull breaks the pin up. And what did I write here? There's the Bucks hit that it's like a forward. I'm gonna say Death Valley driver, even though it's not. It's kind of a front flip with a guy on your shoulders, and 2 moonsaults by the Bucks on Loa, and they win the 6-man tag championship. This was a championship match. And then there's a quick little promo that Bone Soldier is returning. Bone Soldier, I guess, was a former member of the Bullet Club. The next match is LIJ, so it's Hiromu Takahashi, Bushi, Sanada, Evil, and Tetsuya Naito versus El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru. I'm trying to get all the names right. I'm sorry, guys. Taichi, Zack Sabre Jr., and Minoru Suzuki. I wrote that I love that Suzuki-gun have the lamest music. It's really terrible music. And he's, like, Suzuki is known as, like, this, like, rough and tumble guy, and you hear that music and it's just kind of funny. There's Mitsunoku on the outside does an additional announcing, so he basically kind of announces Suzuki-gun. The match quickly goes to the outside with Suzuki using guardrails and chairs on Naito, who already has his knees taped up. Sabre attacks Naito's damaged knees, as does Suzuki. Sanada literally ties up a guy. I hate that spot where you kind of put a guy's hands between his legs and lock him up in that position. The guy was there for like 20 minutes. I forget who it was. Takahashi with a launch dropkick on Kanemaru, and then everything is evil by Evil on Kanemaru for the win. The Bucks show up to challenge Sanada and Evil and land super kicks, and the challenge is accepted. Let's flip the notes over. The next match is Kushida and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada. I could have just gone with last names. I should do that next time, but I've already written my notes for the next show. Okada working heel, really attempts a tombstone on the outside. Tanahashi attacks Okada's... I can't even see what this says. Oh, knee. There's a cool attempted springboard elbow into an armbar by Ospreay and Kushida. There's a springboard Frankensteiner by Kushida on Okada, which looked amazing. I thought that looked really... Kushida is very impressive. I know he's won 5 junior championships before. I'm not familiar with him, and I really enjoy watching him. There's a tombstone, and a couple seconds later, a Rainmaker on Kushida by Okada, and he gets the pin that way. The next match is Kota Ibushi versus Cody Rhodes, which we've seen before, and it was pretty good. So the match starts really slow. I thought the beginning of this match was just... it was tough to watch. Red Shoes is taken out at one point, and that's when the match kind of gets interesting. So Cody brings in a table and tries a superplex, but Ibushi fights it off, and he gets Cody on the table, and then he tries a double stomp. Table doesn't move an inch. Tables in Japan are very well built. So then he goes back and he tries another one to try to put Cody through the table. And Cody does go through the table, but the table's frame still stays there. So Cody just kind of sinks into it. It looks like a hammock. It looked very painful, and Cody's back was bleeding. There is a last ride by... So following those stomps, there's a last ride by Ibushi, and he only gets a near fall. There's a missed Kamagoye, and I forget what that is, but it was missed. Ibushi jumps from the top rope over the barricade onto Cody. That was really impressive because that was a very long jump. Cody gets a crossroads on Kota as he's coming into the ring, but he only gets a near fall out of it. But then Cody hits his version of the Vertebraker and scores the pin. I like the Vertebraker. It's a weird move with a lot of parts to it, but when it hits, it's really cool. And then the last match is Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega. Omega is jumped before the match by Cody. Cody tries to introduce a table to the ring, but Omega kicks it into his face. So that kind of stops that, and the match actually starts. Page hits a moonsault to the outside onto Omega. It was beautiful, really nice. There's a rite of passage on Omega on an unopened table. So the table that Cody was trying to use, he basically kind of just laid out on the floor. And this was landed on, so this rite of passage, which is basically plants the head into the table, looked pretty rough, and there was a dent in the table, and Omega, eventually he also gets a DDT onto a chair, and he's bleeding. I think he was bleeding before that. Must have bladed or something. There's a kind of figure four lift that Omega does where he crosses the guy's legs, lifts him into a knee to the head, so it looks a lot like a Ushigoroshi, but it's not quite that. There is a V-trigger. There's a package inverted pile driver by Page for a near fall. I thought that was really cool. Page then flips into a V-trigger, so he does this kind of flip thing normally where he lariats you, but he does it into a V-trigger. And then Red Shoes stops counting without a kick out. So Omega has him. Red Shoes counts 2 and then just stops without Page even kicking out. It was strange. I don't know if Page was maybe actually struck by the knee or something, or maybe he just hadn't heard the count. Like, Red Shoes saved him, but it looked stupid. Maybe he should have just hit the 3 and call it a day. There's a V-trigger and a double underhook pile driver for a near fall, but then there's a one-winged angel for the Omega win. Afterwards, Omega cuts a promo where he just basically thanks the crowd, doesn't really do too much with it. And that's the end of the show. So night 1, there weren't too many matches of real consequence or big events that happened. Certainly the last 2 matches were some of the better matches and fun to watch and whatnot. I thought Kushida might have been the star of the show. I thought he was really good. It was New Japan. New Japan's always good, but it's these 10-man tags are just draining. You just clear some off. Or maybe if you're splitting this in 2 days, maybe you have crappy matches the first day and actual matches the second day with stars. I don't know. I feel like there's a way they can do it. Overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7.5 out of 10. It felt like it was about 45 minutes too late. But other than that, I feel, having watched the second day, I now kind of understand why they did some of the stuff they did on this day. But there's a lot of repeating spots and stuff like that. So we'll see. All right, thanks for watching. I'll have another review up very shortly.